Okay, we're here with the Dominican sensation, undefeated Elvis Rodriguez, 11-0. 10 knockouts coming off 8-round performance over Argentinian Luis Verón, who proved to be a worthy opponent by going the distance for the first time in Elvis's career. Can he talk to us about that, his last performance?
Hablar de la última pelea y cómo luciste y el hecho de que te llevó a la distancia.
Bueno, creo que fue una buena pelea, una buena experiencia. Creo que me ayudó mucho en mi primera pelea, que se fue a la distancia, ¿sabes? Con un rival de mucha experiencia que vino a pelear y vino a hacer la cosa bien, pero gracias a Dios salimos con la victoria.
He said, I think it was a very good experience. You know, I came out with I fought a tough opponent. It was a step up fight. He was very tough. We looked very good. And I think it was, the best thing for my career to finally go the distance.
How did it feel to go 8 rounds? I think it might have been in the 7th or 6th where he looked like he heard Verón, and then he turned to the crowd and I think he went like this. He might have been talking to you if he even recalls that moment. But going 8 rounds, how did that feel going 8 rounds for the first time?
¿Cómo te sentiste ir los 8 asaltos? Y después de los 8 asaltos, después del séptimo asalto me miraste y hiciste así, como si ya lo tenía, y el hecho de que no pudiste terminar.
Sí, no, o sea, me sentí bien preparado, bien físicamente. Tú sabes, en un momento pensé que sí lo tenía, pero como te dije, tú sabes, él vino a pelear, parece que vino bien preparado y aguantó, tú sabes, pudo llegar a la distancia.
He said, no, I felt good. I felt good doing the 8 rounds, I felt comfortable. He said, you could see that he was very well prepared. There was a moment where I thought I had him, but he was able to recover and he finished the fight.
Was he surprised he was able to go 8 rounds? It looked like he was winning every single round. He was never like getting touched or nothing like that. But was he surprised that he went 8 rounds?
¿Te sorprendió que el tipo duró los 8 asaltos?
Sí, en verdad, tú sabes, sí me sorprendió, pero como te digo, tú sabes, una experiencia, porque no siempre vamos a ganar, no siempre las peleas van a salir por nocaut, ¿tú me entiendes? Y creo que eso, a pesar de todo, me ayudó muchísimo. Mucha experiencia.
He said he was definitely surprised. He said, the reality is that we're not going to win every fight by knockout, but I was definitely surprised. But he had a lot of experience, and it was the best thing for my career.
Was that more of his opponent just being very tough with a lot of grit, or is it a few things that he has to work on his own?
¿Era más que el oponente era fuerte o duro, o era que había cosas que tú tienes que trabajar?
Sí, no, creo que tú sabes ambas cosas. ¿Sabes? Era un rival que se movía bien, era un poquito incómodo, sabía trabajar bien la distancia, ¿tú me entiendes? Y siempre hay cosas que mejorar, por eso estamos aquí todos los días en el gimnasio, porque siempre hay cosas que mejorar.
He said both. He said, the guy definitely was tough. He knew how to move well, and he grinded it out, and he found ways to recover. But there were also things I could have done differently, and that's why I'm here every day training.
What did Freddie tell him about his performance? Did they sit down and get a chance to really talk about it, or was it just like a little bit of advice here and there?
¿Qué te dijo Freddie sobre el?
Sí, recuerdo cuando regresé aquí que estaba ahí arriba, Freddy me dijo que sí, que le gustó la pelea, tú sabes, igual como te digo, que hay muchas cosas que trabajar, tú me entiendes, yo mismo le dije de algunas cosas que sentía que debía mejorar, tú me entiendes, y sabes, para eso estamos aquí, tratando de mejorar todos los días, tratando de las cosas que vimos que debemos mejorar, tratando de hacerla aquí en el gimnasio.
He said, Freddie talked to him when he came back. He said, he liked the fight. He won every round. He was comfortable with it, but there are definitely things that we need to work on. So we're here every day trying to get better and working on the things that we need to work on.
How did you see things from your end, watching him go 8 rounds for the first time in his career?
Look, he was winning every round. He came out a little flat. I think we put on a little bit too much weight after the weigh-in. I think
after the weigh-in, or
after the weigh-in, we put on a little bit too much weight. I think we had a short training camp. Our training camp was 5 weeks.
Short notice opponent too.
We knew about the opponent. So the opponent actually, we were supposed to fight him in December, and then he got the virus, so he couldn't come.
Okay.
And in December, we would have, the way he was in December, that fight wouldn't have lasted 3 rounds. You know? But he went back to DR. Only had like 5 weeks to train, and then the day of after the weigh-in, just I think maybe on my part. Not really controlling certain foods, so that's why he came out, like if you notice, he came out a little bit flat, like not how he normally comes out. I think everybody noticed that, and that I'll take responsibility for. I should have been a little bit more vigilant on his diet.
Can you talk to us about his opponent, Kenneth Sims, if that's still his opponent? Because I know they keep pulling out on him, but what does he know about Kenneth Sim? And I think Freddie's familiar with him. Has he told him anything? Has he talked to him about him?
Háblale un poco de tu oponente, Kenneth Sims, que sabes de él, y sí, que ha estado aquí cuando lo compartió, así que Freddy lo conoce, que te ha dicho de él y que tú sabes.
Bueno, ya, o sea, lo había visto antes, igual que tenemos ahora, lo había visto antes, es un rival bastante bueno, ¿tú me entiendes? Pero creo que aquí junto con Freddy vamos a hacer los ajustes necesarios para poder salir con la victoria esa noche. Ya nosotros más o menos sabemos qué tenemos que hacer ese día, ¿sabes? Y nada, trabajando fuerte, y el 22 de mayo la gente verá el resultado de ese trabajo aquí.
He said, I know who he is. I've seen him before. I've seen him fight before. But we're ready. We're putting this work. We know what we need to do. And on May 22nd, you're gonna see the results of all the hard work we put in the gym here.
And he's gonna be on the card of Taylor versus Ramirez. He can keep a very close eye on that fight. He'll probably be ringside. What does he expect in that matchup?
Que vas a estar en la cartelera de Taylor con Ramírez. Tú puedes ver la pelea. ¿Qué tú esperas de esa pelea?
Bueno, creo que sin duda alguna tú sabes, va a ser una buena pelea. Ambos peleadores son campeones de lo mejor que hay en la división de las 140 libras ahora mismo, y creo que va a ser una buena pelea. No me sorprende cualquier cosa que pase en ese combate.
He said, I think it's going to be a very close fight, a very tough fight. Both guys are incredible fighters, 2 of the best guys in the 140-pound division. And whatever happens in that fight, I won't be surprised because they're both great fighters.
What is he gonna look for in that fight? Just from both fighters, what is he gonna try and keep an eye out for?
¿Qué es lo que tú estás esperando? ¿Qué es lo que tú estás mirando en esa pelea? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres ver de los boxeadores de cada boxeador?
Bueno, creo que tú sabes, todo el mundo conoce el estilo de Ramírez, con un peleador que siempre va al frente, tú sabes. Creo que Taylor se le podía complicar un poco por el estilo de Taylor, que es un boxeador que puede pelear a la distancia, puede pelear en la corta también, lo demostró cuando peleó con Reggie Prograis. ¿Tú me entiendes? Y por eso creo que Taylor tiene un poquito más de ventaja.
He said, look, we all know what to expect from Ramirez. He's a strong fighter. He comes forward. Taylor has shown he can move and he can box. He's shown, great true grit against Regis Prograis. I think Taylor has a slight edge, but it's going to be tough. We got to see what happens.
What else do you expect from this year? It looks like it's already a busy year, but gradually stepping up in competition. Obviously, I think this is an 8-round fight as well.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 10 rounds, but
it's going to be 8. So how do you now gauge this this part of his career now this year? It seems like it's going to be a very important one in terms of if it's a leap year or just keep him on the same path and same route.
Look, whatever Top Rank has for us, that's what we're doing. Whoever they tell us to fight, I can always say that. Like, whoever Brad calls me up and says that we fighting, I always say yes, so it is what it is. Hopefully we can get a title shot at the end of the year. God willing, but first things first, we got Kenneth Sims. And then whoever else they put in front of us, he's not scared and we're not scared, and we take on all competitions. So it doesn't really matter who it is at this point. We just want to get to that title shot and do what we got to do. I know that he's got what it takes to beat, to beat those guys and be the best in the division. And it's just a matter of getting the fights and having people have that desire to see that fight. And that's what it boils down to.
Okay, a few more questions just off topic from his fight. The big comeback. Oscar De La Hoya is fighting July 3rd. What does he make of that? All these older guys, even Marco Antonio Barrera, Chavez Sr. is fighting again. Looks like Mike Tyson's lining something up again. What does he make of all these older guys coming back?
Chávez, todos van a pelear. ¿Qué tú piensas de eso?
No, yo lo veo bien eso. Yo creo que eso le da, revive un poco, tú sabes, el boxeo, que tú esa leyenda, tú sabes, estés motivado a volver, ¿tú me entiendes? Y eso va a hacer que va a llamar la atención más de los fanáticos.
Yeah, look, I think
lo veo bien eso.
I think it's good. I think it helps it helps, you know, liven up the sport a little bit. It brings a lot of people back into the sport. You know, I think it's good for everybody involved.
Does he feel that they're not taking some kind of attention away from fighters like him or the up-and-coming fighters, the more established fighters, or does he really think that maybe it is for the better boxing, the sport needs it, because maybe the fighters right now, there isn't one that's really standing out besides Canelo and Mayweather coming back or Pacquiao coming back type of fighter, you know?
¿Tú en verdad crees que eso es mejor para el boxeo o tú no crees que ellos no le están quitando la atención a los boxeadores como tú o gente que están subiendo?
Bueno, tú sabes, tal vez sí, pero creo que es mejor porque así llama más la atención del público, ¿tú me entiendes? Así la gente se va a interesar de nuevo, ¿sabes? Gente que tal vez tenían años que no veían boxeo, vuelven de nuevo. Tuviste la pelea de Tyson y Roy Jr. en todos los televidentes que tuvo.
Yeah, he said, look, maybe it's taking some attention away from us and the upcoming guys and the new talent, but it's bringing guys back to the sport, guys who maybe spent years away from the sport. It brings those eyes back, and ultimately I think it'll benefit us in the long run. I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why? You can go ahead and add your opinion too.
I think look, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt, right? Like I see Holyfield, and there are like little things you can see with Holyfield that's kind of like there's some signs there that I wouldn't want to put him in the ring.
Even with headgear.
Even, you know, like I just and all of these guys, and like why not put your money and your finances and everything to promoting the shit out of the young talent, right? Like, what other sport could you really do this in, right? Like, we need to move on, you know. Like, these guys have like a stranglehold on the sport, and nobody gets past them because they immortalize them, and then everybody holds on to this. Oh, you couldn't beat these guys when they was in the prime. Like,
to their defense, maybe if Spence and Crawford were fighting each other, there wouldn't be like an open door for them to return.
You shouldn't penalize the fighters for that, right? Crawford should fight Spence. It is what it is. I have my opinions on that. Everybody else has theirs. But it's not, you know, that's neither here nor there, yo. If they don't want to fight, they don't want to fight, yo. The reality is they don't want to fight. So, but there are other guys. Look, AJ is great for the sport. Canelo is great for the sport. Ryan Garcia is great for the sport. Elvis is great for the sport. Even Taylor and Ramirez are great for the sport. Like, those guys are exciting, bro. Like, you know, these are not like. I like the Charlos too. Charlos are fun to watch. Gervonta Davis is fun. You know, these guys are good for the sport. These guys have their own. These guys have their own personality and can bring something. And can bring fighters to but they need people who are going to support them and push them and make them that main guy. And I don't think by like putting you on an undercard of a Tyson fight, you're really pushing these guys, right? Like, nobody cares about you at that point. Everybody's tuning in to watch Tyson.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like, we don't, you know, or an undercard of Jake Paul. Like, the people who are tuning in don't care about whoever's on that undercard.
It's pretty much Jake Paul's buying the fight because of him. Well, yeah, it's a Jake Paul show.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's all fun and games. What happens when somebody get hurt? You know what everybody's gonna do? They're gonna cry.
Yeah.
Boxing's terrible. We gotta get rid of it. We need more rules. We need to change the gloves. It's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Oscar De Leon needs a dance partner. Would you be open to jump in the ring with him? Would you put your fighter in there with Oscar De Leon?
Yeah, bro. I mean, you get put out, but I mean.
¿Qué pasa? Oscar De Leon necesita un oponente que dice que está disponible para poner.
Nosotros estamos ready siempre. Nosotros nunca decimos que no.
Come on, bro. Don't do that to that man, bro.
¿Qué le dices a De La Hoya? What do you say to Oscar?
¿Qué tú le dices a De La Hoya?
No, De La Hoya que esté tranquilo ya, que él está bien, que le den solo muchachos, los muchachones.
Yeah, tell him to relax, yo. He's fine, yo. He's an old man, yo. Like, leave it to the young guys, bro.
Maybe he could DM him. He follows you.
Él te sigue, mándale un DM
un
ahí.
día le mandas un DM. Te decimos aquí que espera un DM. Go wait on the DM.
Lo vamos a invitar a un sparring aquí.
Y'all come through. Let's get a couple rounds in, bro. Let's see what happens, bro. Let's see. Wait, yo, I love Oscar, bro. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Like, I know you have your opinion, but I think he's light years better than Mayweather.
Yeah.
I think, Oscar was fun. He had balls. He fought everybody. But he's old, man, so he needs to chill out before he get hurt, man.
All right.
But Oscar, come through, bro. Yo, spar my man. We get a couple rounds in. I'll tell him to go easy on you. Don't worry about it, yo. I won't let him check your chin and put you out like it does everybody else, yo. Just come through. We move around and have a good time, man.
What happens if Elvis spars De La Hoya or fights him? Yet alone fights him. What happens?
It's not gonna happen. It just won't happen.
All right, it's all fun and games. What does he tell his fans? Last thing.
No, a los fanáticos, tú sabes, mi gente de allá, de Dominicana, aquí también, en Estados Unidos, todos los dominicanos me están apoyando, ¿me entiendes?
Los mexicanos también.
Sí, mi gente de México también muy agradecido, tú sabes, por eso que nos mantenemos trabajando fuerte todos los días, para cada vez que nos toque subir al ring, dar lo mejor de nosotros y estar al 100.
All right, that's good. You gotta translate that.